Greetings, everyone. Future feature film director, the Rookie Critic here, and welcome to the Fandom Collective. I love the show South Park. It's one of my favorite shows to ever exist. It's hilarious, even with some of the stuff that I don't normally know the references to. Like, I don't even know who Barbra Streisand is, but I still find the show to be funny. It's a great show. Freaking love it. And I just heard that Matt Stone and Trey Parker are going to be having a deal with Viacom for $900 million. Let's take a look here. I don't normally cover videos like this, but this is something that I do care about. I love South Park, and I do have a few things I'd like to say about it. The expanding South Park universe will include new movies for Paramount. Now, when I first hear this, even though I love South Park, I'm not excited by the sounds of it, because if you guys aren't aware, a lot of properties and franchises that seem to extend in the modern day don't typically tend to last. They tend to usually falter, get dragged through the mud, get ruined. They tend to peter out. They tend to have the fan base really dislike it extremely. So I'm a little worried that the same thing could happen to South Park. A lot of people say that The Simpsons now, as it continues, is awful, and they should have stopped a long time ago. And I think it takes a lot more balls for shows and movies to know when to call it a day. And I could have sworn that South Park, the reason why I'm even more baffled by their deal here is because I think in like season 22, episode 10, the bike parade, around 17 minutes in or so, the boys are talking to each other, and they're basically, it's like, what are we supposed to do? We're just supposed to go on, and people listen to this crap, and everything else is getting canceled, but we're not getting canceled. Like, I know that they're referring to the events going on in their episode, but oftentimes they're also referring to themselves when they say things in the episodes, and I feel like that's that whole season they've been trying to get themselves canceled. At the end, they're like, hashtag cancel South Park. I know it's kind of a funny play on cancel culture right there, but
how come everything out there is getting canceled, but when it comes to us, we just can't do it? I mean, are we supposed to just keep going? Just go on, making total asses of ourselves? No.
I would think that, honestly, they're like, okay, we've done over 20 seasons. I think we should probably move on to something else by now, I would think, because they are talented guys and they've done other stuff before. And do they want to just be the South Park guys? I don't know. But let's read a little bit into the article, and then we'll see more about what we're talking about here. The creators of South Park have signed a new deal with Viacom CBS Incorporated that will pay them more than $900 million over the next 6 years, one of the richest deals in TV history. Trey Parker and Matt Stone will use the money to make new episodes of South Park for Viacom's Comedy Central network and to create several spin-off movies for the company's Paramount Plus streaming service, these parties said Thursday. Their first project under the new deal will be a movie set in the new world of South Park that will debut sometime before the end of the year. All right, so what this sounds like is that they're not just specifically getting South Park deals. It seems like they might possibly make other Paramount-related movies that are not South Park. They don't seem to state it specifically, because if South Park's going to be a part of Paramount and all their deals and everything that they're doing, then that could be what they're referring to as more South Park stuff. But I would hope that they'll have other movies that they can work on as well. That's not just limited to South Park, because if that is part of their deal, then I'm actually way more on board for this. If they have the rights to work on some other projects that are not just South Park related. I still yet to see the movie Team America, and everybody talks about that one. I've seen Basketball, and as far as other content that they've made, other shows or movies, I actually don't know if I've seen them, which I gotta kind of make sure that I do, because they seem to be pretty hilarious, and I want to see what else they can do. They've got more comedy than just specifically the South Park style of comedy. I'm just going to skip over this next little part as it talks about how Viacom is trying to show their commitment to Paramount and their streaming service. They're trying to compete with the streaming wars, and they're gaining subscribers and stuff. And I'll leave a link to the article in the description if you'd like to read that little part further. But now I shall continue. As giant media and technology companies compete in the streaming wars, the value of franchises like South Park has soared to the record heights. Few, if any, Few, if any, production teams have managed to capitalize on the changes in the home entertainment landscape better than Parker and Stone, who own 50% of all the online rights to the show. Their new deal, which runs through to 2027, covers 6 more cycles of South Park and includes 14 made-for-streaming movies. Okay, yeah, that right there does sound like the other movies that are not South Park. They said 6 cycles of South Park, which tells me either 6 movies or a mix between the movies and show. And then the 14 other Paramount type of stuff, I think those are going to be other movies or shows. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because I'm not sure at the moment, though we might figure that out when we get to the end of this article. Back to reading. When Parker and Stone created South Park, based on a short film they made in college, they were nervous that nobody would watch, or alternately, that they'd be run out of town due to its outlandish humor. But the show, which debuted in 1997, was an instant hit, delivering millions of viewers and putting Comedy Central on the map. By the 3rd season, they had stopped getting any notes from the network on how to improve it. South Park has now been on the air for 24 years, making it one of the longest-running series in TV history, outliving even the program on Comedy Central, except for The Daily Show. Parker and Stone have maintained the quality of the series, not to mention their sanity, in part by sticking to a schedule. They only make between 6 to 10 episodes a year. Each season is produced over the course of a few months in Los Angeles. The onset of the pandemic upended their routine. Last year, Parker and Stone didn't produce a new season of South Park. They did manage to produce a pair of specials, which inspired them to think of some new, bigger ideas for South Park. They hadn't made a movie since 2004's Team America's World Police. But what if they did make a bunch of longer-form South Park episodes? I would say that that's just not necessary. Again, I'll reinstate that I'm totally fine with them not ever making another season of South Park, and rather they end on a decent note. I mean, we don't need to go the way of NBA players that are past their prime and are just on the court now that, oh, they used to be famous and they can score sometimes, but they're clearly not as good as they used to be. We'd rather them retire a little fresh or have some dignity of some kind. No one to have their end. It's possible that they could do them pretty well, especially if they haven't been busting out a bunch of South Park stuff. Maybe they've got a lot of ideas in mind that can be done really well. Maybe. But I don't know. Parker and Stone have always seen themselves as part independent filmmakers, part entrepreneurs. Early on, they were quick to recognize the power of the internet. While negotiating a new deal with Viacom in 2007, Parker and Stone proposed creating a website where fans could watch recent episodes of the show for free. Stone credits the resulting site, South Park Studios, with keeping their young fan base engaged while also curbing piracy. As part of the arrangement, negotiated by their longtime lawyer, Kevin Morris, Parker and Stone secured a 50% stake in all future online deals for the show. Their stake, once worth pennies, is the basis of Park County, a company which they own outright that is now valued at more than $1 billion. So that's pretty much the main things in the article that I wanted to comment on. I don't know, it's very iffy with me. It's 50-50 with me, because it could go either way here. This could be a really good thing, or it could end up being one of the bad things where you want to take it out and shoot it because they keep on dragging it through the mud. But I don't know, South Park, for the most part, over its like 24, 25 seasons, have maintained a pretty decent quality. Some people say that they used to be good and now they suck, or there's some in between seasons that are good and bad. And like, it's kind of hard to judge it all as season based, because each episode usually has its own pile of stuff going on. Its worst season, I would say, is definitely the one where they had the Troll Tracer program stuff. That one was just very, very cringe and felt like it was just dragging on and on and on. It was like, oh god, just freaking end. But for the most part, they have kept up their consistency. So they have proven to keep it up over 24 years. So that's pretty impressive. That's all I got to say on it, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let's talk some South Park.